Illinois agency. That growth did this with 51,000 of life premiums. So there's many more examples of this too, and such a great balance in that 50 throughout all of our markets. So we're seeing it happen in all of our areas. We're doing some spectacular things in challenging environments. So kudos to all of you. Quick update on the service levels that we introduced to you back in March. We continue to hit most service levels on new business and changes with just a little bit of hiccup in property on the changes, but the team's working to address that and correct that. And our average hold times on the phone, continue to see improvement. And again, we know that occasionally it'll hit some peak times where it's a little bit longer wait time, but so much better than where we're at a year ago, with auto a little over 2 minutes and property a little over 3 minutes. And finally, one of the big rocks in our modernization to underwriting is what we call STP, or straight through processing, on the bottom of the chart there. And that, as you know, is very analogous to accelerated life underwriting that many of you know. But we continue to make great progress here, moving from around 14% in auto to nearly 40% halfway through the year, and continue to make strides to keep improving that. And with property moving up to 26%. So the past couple of months, we engaged some consultants, some outside consultants, to review our long-term roadmap with STP, with straight through processing, and glean some things that they work with many other organizations to help them increase their STP. And we feel very confident in our long-term plan to continue to raise these levels for better experience, because that means better experience, especially for all of you and for our clients. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Nicole so you can enjoy a super fantastic session. So take it away, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Sean. So I'm going to ask everyone to please use that react button and give Sean a thunderous round of applause for the shout outs to the reps and for an update on our service levels. Thank you so much. So now we will be hearing from Joanne Crow with a market update. Joanne, please come off of mute, turn on your camera, and tell us a little bit about yourself, and let's hear about that market update. You are on mute.
I'm crushing it on mute, so that's the first thing. I don't know how to unmute. Hey team, good afternoon. As shared, my name is Joanne Crow, and I'm in market management, leading the efforts in Illinois and Indiana. And so excited to be here with you today and sharing some information as well. So I'm going to take control of this so I can advance the screens. Perfect. Allows me to take control. Okay. So what we're here to talk about today is what's called a rep critical questions document. So for the next 5 minutes, the objective of the facilitation is to share a new support tool that has been developed with agency to assist in growth and retention. And I think the most important words on this screen is developed with agency. These are active talk paths that your peers are using, that they're having success with. So we wanted to capture that lightning in a bottle and certainly share that with you today. So let's keep moving along. 3 things before we show you the document and go through some examples is I want to give you some context and headliners in regards to background, some additional details on context and where to locate. So in background, these are key questions to be asking of a prospect or a client considering placing their business with a competitor. The context of that is that we're seeing many competitors taking profitability actions, whether it's rates or non-rate actions to improve their profitability, as well as we're seeing opportunities in the auto space to point out where our quote may not be apples to apples. Housekeeping item, where to locate this is in the sales growth toolbox. So if your pens are up, just write sales growth toolbox critical questions document. How you can locate that is when you click on sales growth toolbox, it's in the new and trending, or if you're in the hold effective meeting space in the sales growth toolbox, you'll see a hyperlink for critical questions document. So let's talk about the document itself. And there is a lot to consume and absorb on this page. We wanted to keep it to 1 page, but I want to break down how you read this, and then we're going to go through an example. So the decoder ring here is, there are 7 topical questions that we've created in this document. So that's what we mean by 1 through 7. The blue indicates the topic, the specific topic within the question at hand that would ask of a prospect or a client. The gray is the actual question itself, and then what is in the white space is just some follow-up example questions to further ask to drive a conversation with the prospect or client. And then last but not least, the green running bar at the bottom is our country value proposition on that particular topic. So again, just wanted to kind of give you the flow on how to read this. Now we'll go through a live example, if you will. So I'm going to zone on questions 1 and 2. So on questions 1 and 2, the first one is on agent availability. So the question becomes, how available is your current agent owner to you? Meaning I'm speaking as if I'm speaking to a prospect. Or do you always speak to their staff? Well, at Country, agent owners are always available to consult with you. The second example of the 7 on the 1-pager is on home coverage. And remember, a lot of our competitors are taking rates or pulling levers on non-rate action. So the question here that several reps are using and having success with is, does your current carrier apply a mandatory % deductible without the option of a flat deductible on your homeowner policy? And then the double click here is just in the white space. We provided some math on what those implications are. So again, you're asking the question about mandatory deductible versus a flat deductible, and just saying, do you know the implications of that? For example, on a $500,000 home, a 1% deductible translates to a $5,000 deductible. And how does that deductible break down for you as a prospect in monthly cost versus having a $1,000 deductible option? And then certainly sharing that at Country, we offer a wide range of deductibles. And then the extra credit question in this space is, hey, additionally, how will your home be covered in the event of a total loss? Does your carrier offer guaranteed replacement? Again, these are conversation pivots to get into that value-based conversation with the client. So these are 2 examples of just really how to break down this document, and we wanted to keep it to 1 page. And again, these are live talkcasts that we're hearing success from in the field. So we're at the 4-minute and 30-second mark. So in close, what I would say is I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. 1, print this document from the Sales Growth Toolbox, and do share this with your licensed staff. Integrate into quoting conversations as well as your annual client reviews. Not all 7 questions will be applicable, but certainly some. And then last but not least, during the requoting process, reach out to your DL and your personalized market manager on 2 fronts. 1, understand who's taking rates in your state. Secondly, understand how a statewide quote list can be designed and tailored for your state. So I'll hang around later for the Q&A portion, but at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Nicole. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joanne. If everyone could please use that React and give Joanne a round of applause. Thank you so much for the market update, Joanne, and for showing us where to find the Rep Critical Questions document housed in the Sales Growth Toolbox. So now we will be hearing for underwriting best practices with Kenny and Allie. They will be partnering with Misty to talk to you a little bit more about our own pizza tracker. Now, I'm sure we all used a pizza tracking system when we order pizza, right? Everyone use that raise hand icon and show me if you have used a pizza tracker. All right, I'm seeing a lot of hands raised. Everyone go ahead and click that raise hand again to lower your hands for me, because now I'm going to hand the reins over to Kenny and Allie to talk us through our own tracking system. Please take a moment, introduce yourself. We'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic. Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. As Nicole mentioned, I'm Allie Scritchlow. I'm the manager of knowledge management team, but of course you all know me as the Click to Know team. I have now been in the insurance industry for 18 years and spent most of my career either selling or as an agency trainer on the agency side, or then of course in my current role in Click to Know, loving what I do by getting to be continue serving the field. Kenny?
Awesome. Thanks, Allie. Hey, Kenny Schuster here, short, bald guy that you might remember from agency visits back in the day. So work on the training team. Awesome to be with all of you again. And we've got kind of a surprise bonus topic before we get to the pizza tracker. Allie and I just wanted to take a brief moment to talk a little bit more about Click to Know. So Allie, you have a quick comment there?
I do. I just want to kind of reiterate that Click to Know is really owned by its users, which means that you get to say what kind of content that we house and publish. Yes, of course, our team, we work with business to keep that content current. And we have a team of folks that you probably have worked with to keep it updated. But a big part of what type of content you see is based off of your feedback directly on what you need to do your jobs. Your feedback comes into us by a way of those Click to Know suggestions. So I'm going to share details on how you can do that in just a little bit, but I just want to say a big thank you to all of you for helping create your knowledge base. For the first half of the year alone, we've seen almost 500 agency suggestions, which is about 70 suggestions per month from just agency only for the content, which is truly amazing. So thank you for giving detailed suggestions on what we're missing in the processes that you need to do your job. That is huge. And that's also the beauty of Click to Know. A lot of the time when you just take a couple extra seconds to submit that suggestion, we can have that new information published in a matter of days, which we of course know on our side at home office is critical to you in efficiently running your business. And we work so closely with our business partners as well. Kenny, can you share kind of your the process for the underwriting side with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the underwriting side, we get a lot of phone calls from all of you and your staff. So we're continuously analyzing that data to identify the common call types. And then we partner with Allie and her team to make sure that we have relevant information Click to Know to help all of you out. That's really the heart of our portion of these growing PC Together sessions, is really a collaboration with Click to Know team and the underwriting folks to make sure that you have great information. And you know, one of the best uses is the fact that yes, we staff underwriting phones, but it's not 24/7. However, Click to Know is available around the clock. So you know, important to know where your resources are for after phone hours, and you can potentially save yourself some time waiting on hold. So, and speaking of phone calls, I did want to let you know that Chuck Norris never dials the wrong number. You just happen to answer the wrong phone. So that's important to know. Hey, all right. We're going back to that pizza tracker. It's about lunchtime. So think about most recent time you ordered a pizza, or when you maybe ordered something from an online retailer. Think about that process. So on the pizza side, I actually have the Papa John's app. And so I can track the life cycle of that pizza. I can see when they've received my order, when it's baking, when it's done and it's waiting for DoorDash to pick it up. I can even track the DoorDash driver to see how close they are to my home. And for a recent purchase I made online, I knew when they received my order. I got notification when it was boxed up and given to UPS, and then I could track it with the UPS system at the various delivery points until it ended up on my doorstep. So we have something very similar to a pizza tracker, and we call it the personalized policy tracker. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, so we're going to jump. I think I've got this, Allie. So you fact checked me, but I think after all these e-conferences last year in history, I actually finally know where to go. But I'm going to click here, Click to Know. So if I start from our agency news page, we get into Click to Know. All you got to do is type in policy tracker and hit enter. There'll be a few articles that pop up, but it's going to be this one, agency dashboards resource. And you know, because it says policy tracker dashboard. That's the first article that we're going to focus. So you feel free to follow on if you'd like. Click into that. And we're going to focus on the policy tracker dashboard. So the article starts off with a video. So if you click, like it says right here, there's a 2-minute video, which is just the video version of what I'm going to share with you today. It's all about how to access personalized policy tracker, how you navigate within it, and what information is available. So the first step is you have to get out to the Enterprise Reporting Hub. If we go back to the agency news page, and we hover over the agency resources, and then go over to production. About halfway down, you see the Enterprise Reporting Hub. Click on that. And then we're going to hover over the rep drop down. And we go to reports by line of business. And the Personal Lines Policy Tracker has information for PAS auto and homegrown transactions. So it's a multi-line report. So you just click on multi-line. And then it's right here, the Personal Lines Policy Tracker. Then you click, it says click here to see your report. So you can actually get into your live report and follow along the information here. The policy tracker. And so that's how you actually get into it. At the top is going to be a color-coded section. The first in this green color here are pending response from you. So you've submitted your transaction. We're underwriting it, and we need more information. So we've sent you right back. As it says here in the article, you can double talk about some of the a little bit. If you're in the application, you can double click and get some additional information. And that's how many write backs that we've sent to you that we're still waiting on response from you. The next is this kind of yellow section here. And it's how many are pending completion and underwriting. So you've submitted the transaction to us and we're underwriting it. It'll break down how many new business transactions, how many change transactions you had. Then the last part is the blue section, and that's how many we've completed. It's the policy tracker uses data from the prior 3 months. So in this case, this rep has 15 policies that have been submitted and completed by underwriting within the last 3 months. At the top of the dashboard are these different tabs. Right? And if you click on that explanation tab at the end, that would give you a whole bunch of information. It's very small fine print here, but that's where I got the information that it looks over the past 3 months. Some other details about the report and some additional information like how to avoid a write back. That was a topic we covered in a prior e-conference. We know, we're hearing a lot of we know you don't get any write backs. And as we shared last time, the underwriters don't send any write backs either. And the number one reason for write back is the underwriter doesn't have the required information to underwrite that transaction. So I'll plead with you, I'll beg of you to please look at that referral summary page before you release that transaction. So that way underwriting has all the information they need. So once an underwriter is assigned to that transaction, they're able to quickly underwrite it, which helps avoid a write back and increases the speed of issuance for clients. That write back detail, if you double click on that green component, will give you additional info, a breakdown. So auto, again, it's PAS auto, so it's all new system. It's PAS auto, how many new business you have pending with a write back, or quotes, or change transactions. And then same thing for property, which is homegrown, that's the new system, breakdown for new business, pending quotes, and change transactions. And you'll see, I mentioned that referral summary page. Right, so the policy tracker dashboard pulls information from that screen and the transaction, so you know if there is a write back, like it says seek email from underwriting, and that's also another way you can send a write back. And then also we call conditions. It's the reason that a transaction is coming into underwriting for review. Keep in mind that one transaction could have multiple reasons, multiple conditions of why an underwriting might need to check it out. You can also click on the policy number, and that will bring up a separate tab in Navigator, so you can access that specific transaction. So, Alan, I think the Personal Lines Policy Tracker is awesome, but we thought it'd be good to hear, for you to hear from one of your fellow agents. So that's what we have Misty here. So would come on camera, Misty. And first off, a huge thank you to you for taking time out of your busy day to be with us. Well, we've got a few questions to help the audience understand how you have found benefit in the personalized policy tracker. So the first question is, like, how'd you first hear about the tracker?
This is gonna be a big plug for my district leader, but, he is amazing and we do coaching weekly, especially being a new agent. And so it was one of my first coaching sessions after I'd written some of my first few policies. He always ends the session with, what do you need from me? How can I help you? And that specific question that time was, okay, I've submitted a policy. What do I do now? Where do I go next? I came from an institution where you could kind of see the process as it goes along, before I came to Country. And so he said the policy tracker and I just bookmarked it then.
All right, well, shout out to Tyler Richardson and 500 bonus points for you. How long did it take you or your staff to become proficient or comfortable using the tracker?
Yeah. So originally it was just me. I hired an associate agent, very part-time, as a producer in December after starting in October. And so I was doing all of the administrative things still, submitting most of our policies. Our team has grown. We have some admin here now. So now that's part of my onboarding process, is teaching them how to use those resources in our policies and procedures, operating procedures that we're kind of streamlining right now. But for me, it was honestly, it's very easy to use. It's pretty self-explanatory if you look at the website.
Okay, good. It's easy to use. How do you find that the tracker benefits your office?
Saving time, that efficiency thing. The 2 young girls, I have to be super efficient with my time when I'm here at the office, and I do a lot of work at night, being a new agency owner and new to entrepreneurship. So the policy tracker lets me not have to make that call into underwriting to try to figure out where something is.
How often do you use it?
When probably every once a week, every other week, just as we've got multiple things going on, multiple policies submitted, just to see where they're at, set expectations for our client.
Awesome. Final question for you. Is there anything else that you'd like your colleagues to know about personalized policy tracker?
It's really easy to use and really saves time for us. More people should use it and not call underwriting, so that when I actually need to talk to them, I don't have to wait for 30 minutes. It'd be great.
Okay, fair enough. I'll get on the same page. So that was all awesome. Very cool. Well, everyone give a round of applause for Missy for being here. Thank you for sharing your insights. Feel free to go off camera. We'd love for you to stay for the rest of the session, but definitely understand if you have other obligations. Since Missy was a special featured guest, she's not going to be around for the Q&A portion, but Allie and I definitely will once we get to there if you have questions specific to the content that we talked about. So we just talked about the personalized policy tracker, how it's like a pizza tracker that keep tabs on your transactions. And I want to let you know that Chuck Norris doesn't need toppings on his pizza, because pizza flavors itself out of respect. It's really important to let you know that.
Kenny, every time I think that you have hit it with the Chuck Norris joke, you just raise that bar every time. I love it. Love it. So Kenny,
I say I hit a new low. That's okay. I'll take the
oh gosh, you're too funny. Well, hey, thanks for walking us through, and thank you, Misty. So Kenny, what is another common call type that you all see?
Yeah, definitely the status of a policy. That's why we cover that one. But we also get questions of, how do I change the inception date for an auto or a home policy? So yeah, good segue. We can talk about that. If you go to your quick to know search and just type inception date, you can see several things pop up. We're going to start with auto first, just go alphabetically. So how to change an auto policy effective date. There's two tabs. The second tab is for FADE, that's our legacy system. And for the sake of time, we'll just focus on the first tab, which is PAS Auto. And there's not a specific transaction to change the inception date. That would be kind of a two-step process, which is to cancel the current policy and then start a new policy with the correct effective date. So that's for auto. For home, and just type inception date. We'll go into how to change a home policy inception date. And second tab is legacy. Focus on homegrown. There's a couple kind of what to know section here at the top of, you can't have any other transactions with different effective dates when you're making an inception date change. When you can do it, just based on what the current date is and what your new effective date is. You can only make 2 inception date changes in the system. And how does net trend rating impact an inception date change? But to actually key the transaction, I'm just going to access the policy and get to your transaction screen. And in homegrown, there is a specific transaction type of policy inception date change. So you'll select that from the drop down. And then you just click the go button. You'll enter your new inception date in the field where it says transaction effective date. If there's more than one name insured, you have to select which name insured is requested to change. Bam, hit submit. And that transaction is on its way to underwriting if needed. So fairly straightforward, but just again, search inception date, and you'll see how to change an effective date for auto, how to change an inception date for home. So that's all about dates. And speaking of dates, I did want to let you know that Chuck Norris doesn't need a calendar because the date introduces itself to him every morning. No need a calendar. Oh, Allie, bail me out here. So I did have a question that I've heard from some reps and staff is if they have an idea for new, and we have tons and tons of articles, but if they have a suggestion for new content, is there a way for them to route that to your team?
Absolutely, there is. So Kenny, if you will scroll up for me, and at the very top, you'll see the click to know icon. Click that. So for all of you that either come into Click to Know the way Kenny showed through Agency News, or if you come in through Navigator, remember you can always click that upper Click to Know icon in the upper left-hand corner. That'll always take you here to that home screen. And Kenny, if you scroll just slightly, you'll notice right there, the very first option that you have underneath the First to Know announcements is make a suggestion. So this is exactly what Kenny mentioned. Let's say I've searched and clicked to know, and I feel like there's just content out there that I'm looking for. Maybe there's something specific that you want to know that you feel would be really great, and you want to reference it later. You think your peers would want to know this information. It helps you do your job. It's part of a process, a procedure, etc. Go ahead for me, click and make a suggestion. Now, this is what we call a global suggestion. So again, this is if you can't find content and you want new content available out there. You tell us what your email address is. That way we know, of course, who it's coming from, because a lot of the time we have follow-up questions. For those of you that have been a part of making those 500 suggestion plus this year, again, thank you. You probably know that my team will reach out to you within a matter of just a day or two, and they'll say, hey, we've got that, right? So you probably have worked with them, so they'll reach out to you should they have any follow-up questions. And then a description of like, what is it? What were you searching for? That is very helpful for us to know kind of what should we be calling that suggestion, or what are you looking for? And then in the actual, if you scroll down just a little bit more for me, Kenny, specifics for how you want, what it is you're looking for. So here what we want from all of you would be, give us as much description and detail of what it is that you were looking for. If you know any parts of a process, maybe it's a process that you use in your own agency and you're not finding it and you want us to capture it for your peers, put that in there. What are the steps that you know that you use as a rep? It's extremely helpful. The more detailed information you can give us, the better we are. Because remember, my team, we're not SMEs ourselves on all of the different product lines and who to reach out to. So as much intel as you can give us on what you're looking for, then we know, hey, when it's sent to us, we know who to reach out to, who to get in contact with to build that, and then we can get you that information as quickly as we can. So again, the more detailed information, the better. You can even add attachments. So let's say you're getting a screen pop of an error, and we don't have that cataloged in one of our processes. Maybe you need something that you're encountering for the first time. Give us that. Take a screenshot, add an attachment. Maybe it's a process that you run in your agency, again, that you'd like for other people to see. Put that attachment in there and then hit suggest. When you do so, it comes right into our group. We check them every single day. We'll say, hey, Kenny, we got your suggestion and we're working it. And we'll keep you up to date throughout that whole process. And that's something my team is very, very diligent about. So we want to make sure you're always in the know. But definitely take a look at that if you ever find that you can't find content or you want new content. And Kenny, with that, what else? Is there anything else that we wanted to discuss today?
Yeah, just a couple quick notes. So one, I can echo what Allie and her team do. I've used it to make suggestions on articles, and they have a serious passion for Click to Know and having that content out there. So it's a really cool process. Just close it, wrap it up. Allie and I, as always, really appreciate you taking time out of your very busy day and your work with clients to be with us. Really hope that the content we provide is beneficial to you and your staff to save time, save money, save frustration. And speaking of money, Chuck Norris doesn't need money because his beard is accepted currency in over 150 countries. So just want to let you know. I'm sure our time's up.
Thank you so much, Kenny. If you could please stop sharing your screen so I can get our slides loaded back up. And I know that a lot of you are already putting in your reactions. So go ahead and give one big thunderous round of applause for Kenny and Allie both while I get our slide deck reloaded. All right, so now we will be hearing from Lois Sheetom, and she is going to be talking to us about auto. So Lois, the floor is yours. Take us away on auto product enhancements.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm Lois Sheetom, the Auto Product Director, and I'm here to talk about auto conversion. So kind of echo what Sean, when he kicked off the meeting, about really thank you for the collaboration between you and the home office and to make all these changes. I'm like looking back while I'm thinking about what Kenny was going through, right? About the auto, even just doing an effective date change. There's one tab for Legacy, one tab for Policy Pro. Can you imagine a day where the entire book of business converted into Policy Pro? Then you don't have to remember, oh, here's the blue zone, this is what you need to do, versus in the Policy Pro, what you needed to do. But it's only possible with your help. So definitely appreciate that. So we started conversion for Arizona around January of this year. We're already about 99% done. It moved a lot quicker than home conversion just because most of these policies are 6 months policy, and we're already about 99% done at this point for Arizona. So wanted to share some feedback that we are hearing from your peer about how auto conversion is going. Have heard that the cleanup isn't as cumbersome as it was expected. The volume is smaller for the entire 19 states. We are only talking about 2,000. Individual rep obviously varies. And rep, you guys are doing your diligence and checking every single policy. After checking a while, notice that everything looks okay and feel confident that the process of the conversion is working as expected. One point is worth calling out. Going into conversion, we kind of know that this is not exactly directly about conversion, but very much related to conversion. It's about policy consolidation. split policy, it really is one of those things that is hard to manage. Client get multiple mailing related to this. So really a lot of question around how to consolidate policy, when to consolidate policy. This is really policy consolidation is truly is a win-win-win all the way around. It's win for your client because they save on fixed expense, which is about $150 for one policy, $300 for two policy, and so on and so forth. We always talk about how much mailing we are getting. If you consolidate the policy, they will only get one set of mailing. I know like when you have split policy, when you make changes on one policy, sometimes it trigger changes on the other policy. And at times you need to call into underwriting to get those all synced up in order for the policy changes to get issued. So when they consolidate, then you really make the policy maintenance that much easier for you and your staff. For country, more split policy mean less split policy help with system performance. So really consolidation, it really is a true win-win-win. Let's look at some of the progress what we are seeing in auto conversion. So all the green states have already converted. They're fully converted. There are 6 of those yellow states that are in the midst of conversion. Arizona started in January, about 99% done. There's the next 5 states, which is effective in July. They're already 50% done. And you got the blue states at that point. It was haven't started conversion, but you should, if you're in one of those blue states, your client probably will start seeing mailing for about 2 weeks now. And even that, we are about 6% done at this point. And a partner with agency, we have went to 70 either live or virtual roadshow and have 80% attendance rates. Going back to the feedback that I was sharing with you about what your peers are saying, conversion is only possible because of your diligence of you and your staff and partnering with us to make sure that we did all the prep work up front to make it as smooth as possible on the back end. We're also holding the open Q&A session. So we have 4 so far. The next upcoming one is in September 11th. So make sure you sign up. Those are open forum Q&A. If you have any specific question, just sign up for that. Again, I would really appreciate the support on the importance of consolidating the policy. It's one of those win-win-win, help with the client with fixed expense, less paperwork, help you make it easier to maintain policy in the future, help country to increase our system performance. So there's some SharePoint, click to know, and also 2 resources that will give you a listing of each of these policies that is eligible for consolidation. Thank you again for the collaboration with the home office to make auto conversion as smooth as possible, not just for you, but also for your client as well. I'll turn this over back to Nicole.
Thank you so much, Lois. Everyone, please use that react and give Lois a thunderous round of applause for talking to us about the auto product enhancements and the conversion process. So now is the time that I know a lot of you have been waiting for, where we have specific time dedicated to our subject matter experts. That would be Lois, and Kenny, and Allie, and Joanne, and Sean, to direct your questions. And a lot of great questions have come in so far. So if I can ask my SMEs to turn on their cameras so that we can address these questions. So our first question came in from Nicholas. Nicholas asks, where can we get a copy of the critical questions chart?
I guess that's me. So, hey, Nicholas and team, that would be on the sales growth toolbox. So if you're familiar with how to get onto the sales growth toolbox, that is on Country News. If you go to Country News, it's literally 2 clicks after that, right? You go to the quick links at the top of Country News, and then you select the sales growth toolbox. Once you select the sales growth toolbox and click into that, there is a big glaring box that says new and trending. And in the new and trending box right at the top is the critical questions document that you can print off. So it's 2 clicks after country news. If you have any trouble, catch me an email, happy to walk you through it.
Thank you so much, Joanne. And Nicholas, my awesome producer, Kim, did put a direct link to that rep critical questions doc in response to your question. Now, we have a really great comment from Deanna. Deanna says, thank you so much for making Click to Know a direct button now and not a drop down on the how to. She really liked this change. So thank you so much, Deanna, for that positive accolade. Our next question comes from Sierra. Sierra says, this looks great. Is there any way for our support staff to access this tracker? I don't know how to allow staff to have access to anything in Tableau.
That's a great comment. Anything for a fee, right? If you want to just send cash to, no, I'm just kidding. I will double back with the data team. See if there's a way to allow them access this right?
Thank you so much. All right, our next question comes from Alinda. Is there any plan for a link to Policy Tracker in the client folder? It seems like it would make it really easy to find.
Good question as well. Racking up all these good questions and you're stumping me. But yeah, I'll put the data team to work and see what the feasibility of that is as well.
Awesome, thank you so much. Our next one comes from Trudy. Are the apps/changes that have been sent into underwriting on the Policy Tracker? I don't remember seeing them. That would be really helpful, thanks.
So any of your PAS auto or homegrown transactions will pull into the Policy Tracker. Legacy does not, Umbrella does not, or any of the other lines of business. But whether we send a right back or not, anything that's PAS auto or homegrown, whether it's a business, a quote, or a change transaction, can do that.
Thank you so much, Kenny, and great question, Trudy. All right, our next question comes from Danella. Is anyone else having issues with the Policy Tracker being extremely slow? Each page seems to take a really long time to load. Is that a known problem, Kenny and Ellie?
And so it could have to do if there's a lot of transactions in there, you know, the more data that's pulling through. I'll confirm with the data team if we have any kind of known issues there. If not, I will give some very harsh words to the Policy Tracker to get it to step up.
Thank you. All right, so our next question comes from Dan. Dan would like to know, why can't they be uniform for both the home and the auto effective date changes?
Yeah, we just like to mix it up here. Now, the auto system was developed many years ago, prior to homegrown, and with a product team. So we have an auto product team, we have a concrete home product team. And so we did a lot of lessons learned after we implemented PAS Auto that the homegrown team was able to leverage. So I'm not sure if there's plans to double back to have implement something in PAS Auto, but I can check.
Excellent, thank you so much. All right. Checking and refreshing. This next question comes from Cheryl. If we have 3 policies in fade and 1 converts now, why can't we add the other 2 now? Why do we have to wait until the other 2 renew?
Great question, Cheryl. I think part of the reason is as we're moving policy from legacy or fade into Policy Pro, there's capping involved with that. And if we manually rewrite those policy, that won't have any capping. So you will get, basically a client will be paying the full premium at that point. And there's also many manual process involved. And sometimes I even need to get underwriting involved. And that is part of the reason, Cheryl, is really for the benefit of the client.
Excellent, thank you so much, Lois. And as Lois had mentioned, if you check in the agency training calendar, our auto conversion Q&A session is on September 11th. You can enroll in that directly from your agency training calendar to address those conversion questions as well. All right, any other questions? All right, our next one comes from Dylan. With a lot of other companies enforcing the wind and hail deductibles, is that something that we will be changing in the future?
Trying to get my my mic off mute. I think that's going to be an individual state by state discussion and evaluation depending on the trends and the loss performance. I don't think it's a one size fits all, but rather a need based on performance.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Joanne, for addressing Dylan's question. Dylan, great question. I'm going to wait. Do we have any other pending questions in review? I'm not seeing anything come in. So I'll give us about 30 seconds. We are having some questions populate. We're just waiting for them to be released. This question comes from Jessica. Jessica states, I started a rewrite for a client because of their billing, and once this was approved, the same day, one of their policies have converted. Are we able to continue with the rewrite for their auto policies, or will this interfere?
Yeah, just Jessica, I might have to take that back, and if you have any specific information that you can share outside of the Q&A, I can take that.
Thank you so much, Lois. All right, Jessica, go ahead and email that to Lois. Our next question comes from Deanna. Deanna says, I'd love to see the tools that should be used every day on the homepage of agency news. Awesome, thank you. All right, we have one more question in pending. Jeanette states, will accident forgiveness for auto be an offer we might offer down the road?
Yeah, so I have been here almost 20 years now, and it seems like it's one of those things every 3 years that come up all the time. So that's a great one. That definitely is on one of our research item as we are thinking about looking at either minor or major enhancement, at least on the auto side. Of things. Great question.
Excellent, thank you. All right, do we have any more lingering questions? Going once? Going twice? All right, due to time, we'll go ahead and move right into our resources. Everyone, please give a thunderous round of applause for our SMEs and addressing our questions for our Q&A. Thank you again, everyone. Okay. Now on this slide, you can see our resources available to help support you as you grow with your property and casualty. So if you have questions about underwriting best practices, these links are live directly on the slide deck, but the awesome Kim, my producer, is going to also post these in the Q&A thread and pin them to the top for you so you can have immediate access. If you have other questions, such as those inflation guides, these links are also active and live for you to click directly on the slide deck, but again, they will also be posted in the Q&A thread for you. But we have several more Growing PC Together sessions coming up. We sincerely hope that you will join all of them that are coming up. So each session are going to cover different topics, and they all run from 12:30 to 1:30 Central Time. You can click directly on the slide deck, but they will also be posted in the Q&A thread for you. So go ahead and register for those now, because we would really love to have you join us for these sessions. Now, we started with a few words from Sean, and it is only appropriate that we close out with him as well. So Sean, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you again, Nicole. I know that the numbers are dropping here pretty fast, so I'm going to talk quick. Just got a couple of minutes. Want to go over a couple really important things for you, and just want to update you on some key important items with regard to putting your best quote forward, with auto. And we all know that you want to provide the very best protection at the very best price for clients and prospects. And we need to do that at every single opportunity in this time where it's a very highly competitive market. But we now have very strong data that is showing us not just a small bump in production, but a massive game-changing event when we use all of the discounts in the quoting process and do that up front. So you all know the four. It's multi-policy discount if you have a home or a life. It's advanced quote discount if you're doing it, before 7 days. It's preferred pay, and it's driver IQ. And the data shows us that when we use all four of those up front right away, you are 3 to 4 more times likely to actually gain that business. So that is massive. That's not a small bump. But I want to spotlight real quick driver IQ for you. And this is a very special ingredient in the competitive rate cycle we find ourselves in today, because you immediately gain a 10% discount when you have driver IQ and the ability to gain up to 25% in subsequent renewals. And how do I know that? Because when I'm on a Teams call with a rep or I'm at an auto conversion roadshow, they all bring their phone out and they say to me, hey, I'm getting 22% or I'm getting 24%. So we know that that's happening and our clients need to experience that as well. The other thing you get is you get great feedback on the driving habits. And that's great for especially those households that have youthful operators. So the other data that is very strong for us right now is that those households with driver IQ are showing significantly better results than those without when it comes to loss experience. And that's even nearing the double-digit mark. So what that means is that's a tremendous long-term impact on rates. So the enrollment and the continuation of the program is super easy today. That was fairly invasive for all of you, trying to manage that with clients and getting them back on to driver IQ. Today, they can pick up right where they left off, but it's an easy process that takes little to no time of yours and much less invasive. So a lot of great reasons to be back on driver IQ. And I also know that those driving results for offering all four discounts every time, we will see tremendous growth and jump in our conversion rates, but also new business production. So thank you again, once again, for being here, for the crucial role you play in the growth of our great company, your partnership as we navigate to better outcomes, better systems, better processes, because that all leads to better experiences for everyone. We appreciate you and your teams very much and look forward to seeing you at that October 6th Growing PC Together, as we will give you a solid dose of ComAg with our commercial teams and more specific around commercial auto. You won't want to miss that opportunity. So have a great rest of the week and keep continuing the excellent work with clients. So thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone, for your participation today. Have a wonderful day.